6 months after the epic clash between the National Alliance and the alien android from the Children of the Cosmo, the aftermath reverberated throughout the country. The Galilean Congress held a public hearing, summoning all of us, members of the National Alliance, except for the new Olympians and the degenerate crew. Congress members, while expressing their gratitude for the heroes' bravery and sacrifice in saving the country, also voiced grave concerns. They were troubled by the collateral damage left in the battle's wake. Innocent civilians lost their lives, and a good amount of the infrastructure sustained devastating harm. And to remember on record that the heroes' decision to allow one of their own to defect at the battle's end was especially condemned, deemed an unforgivable lapse in judgment and character. In a controversial decision, all 120 Congress members voted unanimously to impose a 3-month suspension on the National Alliance members. During this period, we were forbidden from performing any superhero duties. A steep fine of $50,000 per member was set for any violation of this suspension. Despite feeling the weight of this seemingly unjust punishment, the heroes reluctantly accepted it, aiming to demonstrate their respect for Galilean law and their willingness to be held accountable regardless of their superhuman status. However, beneath the surface of this public spectacle lay a darker truth. The hearing was ordered by shadow forces with hidden agendas. These powerful entities manipulating the strings of Galilean politics from behind the scenes were known to some as the Secret Society. 85% of the population really believe that they don't exist. 10% believe that they do exist. And there's that 5% that they simply don't care either way. The Secret Society are an unseen group. Their existence is shrouded in mystery. No one had ever seen them, and those who claimed to know them often vanished without a trace or end up dead/assassinated. The public and the news media thrive on rumors and conspiracy theories alone about such group as this, believing them to be the unseen architects of the Galilean way of life, religion, hierarchy, and the island's overall system. One crazy believer of the existence of the Secret Society is Professor Chow, a former academic and self-proclaimed expert on Galilean history. Every Sunday morning, he streamed his theories on the Chirichara platform, equivalent to YouTube in our country, captivating his viewers with tales of how this clandestine group had influenced events throughout the nation's history. In his latest broadcast, Professor Chow has recently speculated that there's a chilling connection between the Secret Society and biotech led by Mundis. Professor Chow really believes that this powerful group from the shadows want Mundis to become the next president of Gala Island, which means that they obviously had a hand on the assassination attempt on our current president, Madam President Tomahawk, who was intercepted and saved by the unregistered superhero, the Bullet, the president's personal bodyguard. The professor goes further to expect another attempt on the president's life in the near future, and all they are waiting for is for their sweet time to strike at the right moment. It's part of their tactic. First, they try a pilot attack to see if it worked or did not work as intended, and if it didn't work, they would modify it in the most effective ways. He also claimed to have discovered photographic evidence, 10 to 15 images, allegedly depicting the elusive members of the Secret Society from 1951, the famous year and moment when extraterrestrials crashed down to our island from outer space. Unbeknownst to the professor, these revelations painted a target on his back, and if he is correct and the Secret Society decides to react in order to uphold his silence, his life is in grave danger. Knowing this, I, Tiago Ansari, along with my retired team, decided to take matters into our own hands, knowing that we will violate our suspension. We go visit Professor Chow's home and provide the right protection against any potential threats that might come his way. The air was thick with tension as a brewing storm loomed on the horizon, a storm that could unravel the very fabric of our society at the worst possible time. As my team and I stood guard over Professor Chow, he leaned in closer, his voice hushed with the weight of a secret he had yet to share publicly. He knows they are watching. He knows they are listening. The professor revealed that the recent public hearing with the Congress members, which had placed the superhero community under such harsh scrutiny, was also orchestrated by none other than the Secret Society. According to Chow, this shadowy group had a long-standing agenda against superheroes since its creation of the Superhero Society in 1951. They had made numerous attempts throughout history to undermine, eliminate the ones that became a constant threat to their plans, or directly buy the loyalty of these extraordinary individuals with vast sums of money. Although the Secret Society had no direct involvement with the alien android we fought 6 months earlier, they felt an unprecedented sense of vulnerability following the battle. For the first time, they perceived a threat that they couldn't easily manipulate or control. The power and unity displayed by the superhero community had shaken them to their core. This realization led them to believe that the resources allocated to the superheroes were excessive and a threat to their own dominance. Their ultimate goal is very clear: to dismantle the superhero community entirely, thus eliminating any challenge to their absolute authority and wanting to become the ultimate saviors of this country. It was a chilling realization, hearing Professor Chow articulate these thoughts to us. The Secret Society is not just a hidden hand, manipulating events after events. They were actively plotting to strip away the very forces that protected the innocent and maintained justice. Their desire to control and govern the nation without interference is not just a theoretical threat. It's a calculated move, now playing out in real time. The unfairness of the situation was palpable, but so too was the grim truth. We were up against an adversary more insidious and far-reaching than we had ever imagined. As we are protecting Professor Chow, a couple of things have started to set in motion nationwide, and it doesn't look good. At this moment, my team and I are facing a new and deadly adversary, an assassin known as Speedster Yeller. His name says it all. With superhuman speed, he's a blur of lethal intent, and Professor Chow is convinced that the Secret Society sent him to kill the nut old man. The professor has been clear about their motives. They're starting with him, but this is just the beginning. The Secret Society's plan is a multi-layered one, with malicious events set to unfold simultaneously. Their goal is to push us superheroes nationwide into violating our suspension, knowing very well that if the Galilean citizens are in danger, we cannot ignore their suffering, which will force us to pay hefty fines, and giving them the pretext to impose even more stringent sanctions until we're completely out of their way forever. We're committed to protecting the professor despite the odds. We've faced countless threats before, but something about this situation feels off. The professor, who should be on edge given the danger he's in, is strangely calm, almost nonchalant. He's full of positive energy, cracking jokes and carrying on as if we're not in the crosshairs of one of the most powerful and secretive organizations in the world. While his optimism is refreshing, it's also unsettling. My team can't shake the feeling that he's hiding something from us, something crucial that could change the course of this entire ordeal. It's as if he's aware of a larger game being played, one that he's not ready to reveal to us just yet. There's a tension in the air, a sense that beneath his carefree demeanor, the professor is guarding a secret so important that keeping it quiet might be the only thing keeping him alive. So we're left to wonder, what does he know that we don't? What piece of this puzzle is he holding back? And most importantly, can we protect him and ourselves without knowing the full truth? The more we uncover, the more dangerous this game becomes. The deeper my team goes down the rabbit hole without an exit plan. But one thing is certain, the Secret Society won't stop until they've eliminated every threat to their control. And right now, that means the Nutty Professor, which also means my team as well. As the Speedster Yeller races toward his target, Professor Chow, a far more sinister plot unfolds in parallel. a new supervillain is making his way to the presidential headquarters, his sights set on none other than Madam President Tomahawk. This isn't just any ordinary attack. It's the second assassination attempt on the president, just as the eccentric Professor Chow had predicted. The new supervillain at the center of this deadly mission is known as Lord Biohazard, a name that sends shivers down the spines of those who know him worldwide. Lord Biohazard, renowned international assassin, wields a neon green acidic gun, capable of melting through any metal, no matter how impenetrable. But that's not his only weapon. He also possesses a terrifying ability to slow down time, though only for a brief window of 35 seconds. It might not seem like much, but in the hands of a skilled killer, those seconds are an eternity. More than enough time to wreak havoc and kill his targets. The professor was right when he warned us about the secret society's next move. They've specifically hired Lord Biohazard for this mission, knowing full well that Madam President is under the vigilant protection of the Bullet, the fastest superhero in the nation. The secret society is counting on Lord Biohazard's ability to manipulate time to neutralize the Bullet's speed, turning her greatest asset into a liability and fear. In those 35 seconds, he'll have the edge he needs to outmaneuver her, bypass the presidential security agents, and carry out his lethal assignment. Chaos has officially erupted across the nation. The simultaneous attacks, the speedster Yeller targeting Professor Chow, and now Lord Biohazard zeroing in on President Tomahawk right at the Giran presidential headquarters. The secret society are not just targeting individuals, they're aiming to destabilize the entire country by any means necessary. With every move, the secret society tightens its grip on our country, pushing us closer to the brink of death. So now, who's next on their hit list? We must brace ourselves for whatever horrors they have in store for the rest of us. As Lord Biohazard looms menacingly in the capital, drawing closer to the presidential headquarters, another sinister plot begins to unfold, targeting the super freaks a couple of miles away, outside of the capital city. This time, the threat comes in the form of a twisted brother and sister duo, known as the Bohemian Mimes. These two young villains, once confined to an asylum for their disturbing powers, have recently been freed by the secret society. Their freedom, however, comes with a dark price. In return for their release, the siblings are tasked with infiltrating the super freaks and eliminating them. But there's a cruel twist. The mime boy is to confront only the men, while the mime girl will focus her deadly attention on the women. The Bohemian Mimes are not just ordinary villains, their powers are as eerie as their personas. With a single gesture, they can render anyone completely mute, robbing their victims of speech and communication. But what truly makes them terrifying is their ability to steal the powers of others through physical touch, mimicking and wielding them with lethal precision. The more powers they can steal at the same time, the more they can use them at the same time. This chilling ability makes them formidable adversaries, capable of turning the hero's strengths against them. On this particular day, the ladies of the Super Freaks, Boa Morte, Vicky Vampire, and Techno, are at the mall, indulging in some much-needed shopping therapy, blissfully unaware of the danger lurking nearby. The girl Mime, cunning and patient, has already begun her approach. Disguised as a street performer, she entertains the crowd with a seemingly harmless mime act, diverting attention from her true diabolical intentions. Her plan is meticulously crafted. She will touch an unsuspecting woman in the audience, adopting her appearance like a shapeshifter. With her new disguise, she will blend seamlessly into the crowd and head straight to the clothing store where the three heroines are shopping. Once inside, the mime girl will move with the precision of a predator, waiting for the perfect moment to brush against Boa Morte, Vicky Vampire, and Techno. With each touch, she will silently siphon their powers, one by one, until she possesses the combined abilities of all three. Only then, with their strengths at her command, will she begin to strike. Meanwhile, back at the Super Freaks mansion, the men, Caveman Alpha the Trojan and Grey Wolf von Bronco are engaged in a rigorous training session, honing their skills against a state-of-the-art robot simulator. They have no idea that danger is already inside their home. The Mime Boy, just as devious as his twin sister, has infiltrated the mansion by posing as one of the household staff, slipping past their defenses with unnerving ease. His objective is clear: to get close enough to the three men to make physical contact. Once he does, their powers will become his, and the true horror of his mission will begin. But there is one more complication. Vanguard, another member of the Super Freaks, is not at the mansion at the moment. Instead, he has taken a huge risk by visiting his twin sister in the hospital, aware that this puts him in danger of being exposed to his own father. Mundis, the president and CEO of Biotech. Vanguard's absence means the Mime Boy has one target that is not accounted for, but it also means the remaining heroes are even more vulnerable without Vanguard present. The mansion is not empty. It is staffed by loyal employees who cook, clean, and maintain the premises of the mansion. However, their lives are now in grave danger as the Mime Boy weaves his way closer to his intended targets. With each step, he brings the chaos of the secret society's plan closer to fruition. As the Bohemian Mimes execute their sinister plot, it becomes clear that the secret society's reach is vast. Their spies are everywhere, with every detail overlooked. I think it's safe to say that the Super Freaks have their hands full for sure. The next group to find themselves in the crosshairs of the secret society's sinister schemes are the teenage superheroes known as the New Olympians. But this time, the challenge is going to be far more difficult. It's Saturday, and instead of training or fighting crime, the young heroes have decided to take a rare break and enjoy a trip to Chow Beach, located on the far northwest coast of Tomasia, the capital of Gala Island. The plan was simple: relax, soak up the sun, and forget about the pressures of being superheroes, if only for a day. Little do they know, the beach is about to become the battleground for their toughest fight yet. The secret society, never one to miss an opportunity, has already set their plan in motion. They've hired a particularly troublesome teenage witch named Lady Gilberta to carry out their dirty work. Gilberta is not like the witches of the Witch Kingdom. She's a hybrid witch, born among humans but possessing powers that make her a force to be reckoned with the ability to create illusions of herself, fly, conjure massive rings of fire, and cast deadly spells. She's as dangerous as she is unpredictable. One of her more terrifying abilities is the Kiss of Death, a power that allows her to drain the life force from anyone unfortunate enough to fall victim to her beautiful charm, which makes her grow even stronger than originally thought. Despite her formidable powers, Gilberta is not one to get her hands dirty unless absolutely necessary or as a last resort. A self-proclaimed upper-class girl with a taste for the finer things in life, she prefers to watch others suffer for her amusement rather than engage in direct combat. So, instead of confronting the New Olympians herself, she takes a different approach. Behind the backs of the secret society, Gilberta hires the Rawson Gang, a notorious group of criminals known for their ruthlessness and loyalty to whoever pays the most, but also because of their distaste of people with superpowers, as they believe that those kinds of people should be illegal, in jail, or dead. With a great sum of money and a few strategically placed energy spells on their baseball bats that lasts forever, Gilberta equips the gang with weapons capable of dealing serious damage to the young heroes. As the New Olympians arrive at the beach, ready to enjoy their day off, Gilberta is already there, blending in with the other beachgoers, watching with a twisted sense of anticipation. She intends to enjoy every moment of the chaos that is about to unfold, but she's not just a passive observer. Should the need arise, Gilberta is fully prepared to step in and finish the job herself. But in the rules of Lady Gilberta, her amusement comes first, but the secret society's orders are never far from her mind, as she knows very well deep down not to dare to double-cross them. Unknown to the new Olympians, today, out of all days, they're walking into a trap. The Rawson gang, now armed with their magically enhanced baseball bats, lie in wait, ready to ambush the unsuspecting heroes. As they prepare for their attack, Gilberta relaxes on the sand, a cruel smile playing on her lips as she envisions the chaos to come before her. She knows that the odds are stacked against the new Olympians, but that's exactly how she likes it, watching the strong struggle and the innocent suffer. However, Gilberta's carefully laid plans come with a potential complication. The real leader of the Rawson gang, a man whose powers are as deadly as they are unique, may decide to show up and take control himself. This gang leader's name is called Algarve Rawson, a mysterious figure that even the police around the country are afraid of. He has the ability to control and boil the blue blood within anyone who has it coursing through their veins, making it explode into a pure, solid expanse as it comes from the inside the victim's body, or he can make people overdose super quickly as he can also increase the blue blood's liquidized compound. He is the kind of villain anyone with blue blood in their body might not want to mess with. His presence would add a dangerous new element to the battle, one that even Gilberta might find difficult to manage. But she's not worried. The secret society has been assured by the young witch that everything is under control and the spies are already positioned to report every detail of the upcoming unfolding chaos. As the sun shines on Chow Beach, the new Olympians will have a surprise time to fight for their lives. This was supposed to be a day of relaxation, which soon is about to turn into a deadly game of survival, and the secret society's machinations continue to spin in the background, unseen but ever-present. Lady Gilberta is playful, mischievous, and a complete psycho of a witch. But something tells me that everything is not going to go according to plan. As the secret society's shadowy tentacles spread chaos across the Galilean nation, another superpowered group finds itself entangled in their deadly scheme, the Wild Hybrids. Unlike the elaborate plots spun against other groups or individuals, the plan for this group is brutally direct and dangerously simple. Meet Beemaster, a newly emerged supervillain hired by the secret society. Somehow he has discovered a way to control a specific group of animal hybrids using a weapon far more insidious than any traditional attack. A lethal whistle that operates at a frequency only detectable by those with hybrid animal DNA, which makes them super thirsty for blood, ready to get into natural hierarchy mode as predators are going to hunt their inevitable prey. Beemaster himself is no ordinary villain. A mere human, PhD in engineering, creates his own bee super armor suit that grants him incredible speed, agility, super strength, can see through walls, and has heat vision as well. A formidable opponent in his own right. The suit's most dangerous feature is the pair of silver blade whips that extend from his bracelets, capable of slicing through steel and bone alike, no matter how strong the opponent is. But his most recent invention is why we are here in the first place. He created the high-frequency dog whistle. Originally designed to control animals overall, the whistle has been enhanced with the blue alien blood mixed with technology, making it inaudible to human ears but highly effective on animal hybrids. The sound is so piercing, so disorienting, that it turns even the most controlled hybrid into a frenzied super apex predator, ready to eat their next meal. The secret society has helped Beemaster to target his new invention to this group that was thought to be hidden for centuries. They are known as the Royal Hybrids. These 5 super animal experiments vanished years ago, believed to be lost forever. The Wild Hybrids had searched for them for years, but it was the Royal Hybrids, under the heavy influence of the whistle, who found them first, ready to kill their once upon a time their experimental comrades. Now, with the sound of Beemaster's super whistle driving them into a murderous rage. The royal hybrids are ready to hunt as they are right outside of the wild hybrids' headquarters. Each member of the royals has a specific target within the wild ones, and today they intend to settle old scores, and the only outcome is death. At the helm of the royal hybrids is Ruga, the leader, a tiger hybrid with a bone to pick with Leonidas, the lion captain of the wild hybrids. Their rivalry goes beyond mere animosity. It's a battle for pure supremacy. Ruga has long believed himself to be the true king of the animal kingdom, and today he plans to prove it by taking Leonidas out once and for all. For Ruga, this isn't just a fight, it's a quest to claim the crown and force both groups to bend the knee to his supreme rule. Mosquita, another member of the royal hybrids, has her sights set on Lizarda. Their history is steeped in jealousy and unrequited love. Back when they were still human, Mosquita fell deeply in love with Leonidas after he randomly saved her from certain death. But her heart was shattered when she saw Lizarda steal a kiss from her lion. From that moment on, Mosquita's love turned to hate, and now, under the influence of the hybrid whistle, that hate has morphed into a desire for vengeance. She doesn't just want to defeat Lizarda at this moment. She wants to make her rivals suffer as much as possible and let her beg for mercy until the opportunity comes to deny such a request, only to execute Lizarda on the spot, and her head is on a silver platter. Only then she will be happy and try to be Leonida's one and only girl. At least, that's what she imagines in her broken head. Mama Bear faces a deeply personal battle against Macho Thing. Long ago, they had a mentor and protege relationship in the world of professional wrestling. After Macho Thing went to the USA to pursue his professional wrestling career and failed, when he came back to Gala Island, he connected with Mama Bear again, but this time they volunteered for the biotech experimental program together, lured by the false promise of wealth. But instead of riches, they were turned into hybrids against their will. Mama Bear blames Macho Thing for leading her into that nightmare experience, and now their fight will determine whether any remnants of their past affection remain, or if hatred has consumed her entirely. Greyblood, the great gray shark hybrid, has his own nemesis to contend with. Young Croc, a giant crocodile hybrid with a thirst for revenge. Years ago, Greyblood, while still human and a known criminal, killed young Croc's parents while he was in college. Since then, the young hybrid has been biding his precious time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When Greyblood went to prison, young Croc waited. When Greyblood was transferred to the south of the country, to the biotech secret site, young Croc went there as well. He even deliberately walked into the experimental site and volunteered to be experimented on as part of the animal hybrid program. After so long, after all that had happened in biotech, today is the day. That moment the young Croc been waiting for has finally arrived, and today young Croc will take his revenge by hunting down and killing the shark hybrid who took away his parents, avenging them at last. But if he succeeds, will he finally find the peace he was looking for? Only time will tell. The final member of the royal hybrids. Wild Wing has a tragic past that has twisted him into the villain he is today, and the villain he never wanted to become. Once a revered superhero in the 1990s, with the majestic brown wings he used to have, his life was shattered forever when a fire-powered villain burned his wings to ashes from the sky. Desperate to regain what he'd lost, Wild Wing turned to biotech's animal hybrid experimental program, sacrificing his humanity for a chance to fly again. Since the experiment was successful, his wings are stronger than ever, but his mind is completely broken. He has nothing against Desiree, but when he sees the half-woman, half-bat hybrid from the wild hybrids flying in the sky, something snaps inside him. A traumatic trigger. In his twisted mind, she becomes the embodiment of that same fire-powered villain who destroyed his life long ago, becoming consumed by the sheer desire to ultimately destroy her. As these deadly confrontations unfold, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary battle. It's a hybrid civil war. The secret society's plan is obviously effective. Put these hybrids against each other, let them tear each other apart, and eliminate the wild hybrids in the process once and for all. With B-Master's super diabolical whistle driving the royal hybrids into a frenzy murderous bunch, the odds seem overwhelmingly in their favor. The wild hybrids might be outmatched this time, facing enemies who know them inside and out. But even in the face of overwhelming odds, there's always hope. The wild hybrids have been through hell and back for more than 20 years, and they've survived by relying on each other with the power of teamwork. They'll need every ounce of that strength, that trust, to make it through the day. As the secret society watches from the shadows, the wild hybrids prepare for the fight of their lives. Today, they're not just fighting to survive, they're fighting for the very future of their kind. As the wild hybrids will start their epic battle in the south of the country, chaos is about to erupt in the northern province of Norda, where the secret society is ready to unleash a catastrophic event. The 10th Legion, the only group spared during the congressional hearing, remains on standby by the direct orders of Attorney General Lasso, who, though pardoning the super soldiers, has commanded them to stay down until further instructions. The Legion's enforced inactivity, a thinly veiled punishment, has left these warriors of war restless and vulnerable to potential enemies. Meanwhile, the secret society has revived an ancient terror, a forgotten biotech experiment named Vila Sandra, who was put to freeze in 1991 and meant to remain buried in the depths of forbidden science. Now, freed from her icy prison, Vila Sandra is more than a monster. She is a deadly weapon under the control of the shadowy beings, bound by a bomb implanted in her head, ensuring her loyal obedience. Her mission is to seek out and destroy the 10th Legion. Vila Sandra's unique hunger adds another layer to this horror. Before she goes on an attack to the super soldiers, she requires a fertile man to breed with, which is safe to say that she has found her intended target. Her plan is to seduce and capture Thunderstorm, the leader of the legions, take him to an abandoned building and breed. Afterwards, the plan was to devour him, after giving birth to a monstrous being which is genetically programmed to hunt down and kill the remaining members of the Legion. The secret society, ever watchful, monitors her every move, ensuring that she fulfills her deadly mission. So far, so good for the villain, as Vila Sandra has Thunderstorm kidnapped in the abandoned building, already did her way with him. She is giving birth to his monster child as we speak. If only there was a way for Thunderstorm to wake up and escape in order to alert the others in time of the upcoming threat. One can hope. Unknown to the 10th Legion, this catastrophic event was set in motion long before their pardon, a sinister plot to strike when the soldiers least expect it. As they wait in their military headquarters, unaware of the monstrous danger that approaches, Vila Sandra moves through the shadows, driven by a primal need and a lethal directive. The stage is set for a day of unimaginable chaos, and unless the Legion realizes the threat in time, they will face an enemy unlike any they have ever encountered. One born from the darkest depths of biotech's twisted experiments and driven by the cruel hand of the secret society. If Vila Sandra succeeds, the 10th Legion is in for the longest and bloodiest day of their lives, as Thunderstorm might have to kill his own monster offspring in order to save his team and the rest of the country, and hopefully finally face Vila Sandra for a final showdown. Too much chaos, such little time to correct it. Another group that escaped Congress's 3-month suspension was the Degenerate crew, the supernatural renegade team of last resort. Despite not being part of the National Alliance, their help in defeating the alien android from the Children of the Cosmo was invaluable. However, the secret society, the all-knowing shadow beings, still sees them as a formidable threat, And they've sent someone their way with unparalleled power to annihilate this chaotic bunch. This next villain is rumored to be the most dangerous and unpredictable foe anyone has ever faced, Wiz Salazar. According to Professor Chow, Wiz was once the king of Enchantra, the witch kingdom in the province of Nashua. Known for a while as the Crazy Wizard, his legend is 50% madness and 50% unmatched magical genius. What's strange, however, is that Wiz Salazar doesn't need the money, doesn't have any thirst for vengeance, and he's powerful enough to obliterate the secret society if he wished. So why would a former magic king with royal status agree to such a seemingly trivial mission? The answer, Chow suspects, lies in Wiz's love for playing games and pushing others to their limits. Perhaps his true objective is not just to destroy the degenerate crew, but to test them, to see how far they can go, how much chaos they can endure, and whether they can rise to their fullest potential under extreme pressure. Professor Chow warns that Wiz will likely manifest himself in 5 different forms, as the real Wiz will be somewhere else unexpected and unreachable. Each of his forms will confront a member of the crew separately, pushing them to their extreme breaking points. Against Captain Sancho, the battle will be a contest of sheer will and physical endurance, where both must match each other's insanity and strength until one is knocked out cold. This fight will test how far Captain Sancho can take his madness and brute force in a no-holds-barred brawl. But also, Wiz is going to test the pirate to see if he is willing to be vulnerable and learn how to give up his life for others without anything in return. To be a hero is a painful journey, and as the leader of the crew, Sancho needs to show his real pain and his selflessness on display for the whole world to see. Wiz's duel with Lord Azrael will delve into the concepts of justice and morality, challenging Azrael's sense of righteousness. This battle will confront the very essence of virtue, forcing the modern Templar to confront his own doubts and insecurities. Wiz will push him to question whether his unwavering commitment to justice is truly the right path when certain special occasions arrive, or if he is being held back by his own moral constraints. It will be very important for Azrael to remember that not everyone needs to be cleansed, but all deserve their bitter end with or without justice. He needs to learn that he can't control evil, only to understand evil, and then relinquish evil so they can go in peace to be judged by the Most High. Big Boy Frosty's fight will be a psychological and emotional struggle. Wiz will force Frosty to confront the walls he has built around himself. Walls of guilt, self-criticism, and the inability to forgive himself from his past crimes millions of years ago. Only by breaking these barriers can Frosty unleash his true power, a strength so immense that it could terrify even his most formidable foes. Wiz understands that people see Big Boy Frosty as a big dumb giant who can't speak well. Maybe now is the time to really speak his mind clearly so others can finally shut up. Pinkalicious, the shortest, fastest, and sexiest of the crew, will be tested in ways she's never imagined. Wiz's challenge will be about control, not just of her powers, but of her desires, her impulses, and her very life. To defeat him, she will need to become more than just a master of her abilities. She must learn to manipulate circumstances to her advantage, evolving from basic instincts to a deeper, more strategic level of power. This is her moment to transcend her limits and become something far greater than she's ever been. Finally, Moonshadow will face perhaps the most challenging test of all. Wiz has analyzed her powers and sees that she's a fierce warrior with a well-balanced set of skills. But he also senses that something crucial is missing. Despite her ability to summon devastating energy force fields and deliver her enemies to the brink of hell, there's a gap in her confidence, a hesitancy that could prove fatal in a true fight against ultimate evil, which could ultimately cost her life and the lives of others. Wiz will push her to discover that missing piece, to break free from her self-imposed limits, and to embrace a power far beyond what she currently knows. Wiz Salazar, the former king of the Magic Kingdom, is not just a powerful foe, but a powerful teacher. One who will force the degenerate crew to confront their deepest fears, insecurities, and untapped potential. But the question still lingers. Why would the crazy king accept this mission to destroy the crew, knowing he could easily overthrow the secret society itself? The answer remains locked within Wiz's enigmatic mind. Yet one thing is certain. If the secret society doesn't like what they see as Wiz toys with the crew, something even more sinister may be waiting in the wings, ready to descend upon these supernatural superheroes. The degenerate crew may have faced many challenges before, but nothing like what's coming their way. Nothing like Wiz. We all have our battles to fight, and sometimes it feels like we're waging war against demons, both within and around us. But in the midst of these struggles, a revelation has dawned on me, one that has shaken my understanding of everything we've talked so far. From the beginning, I was struck by how much Professor Chow knew, not just about us, but also about the secret society. He seemed to have an almost preternatural insight into their every movement, their strategies, and even the identities of those they hired to bring all of us down. At first, it amazed me, but now it no longer surprises me because I've come to realize the secret that Professor Chow has been guarding all along. I've always had a habit of paying close attention when people speak, especially when they speak too much. And there was something he mentioned early on that didn't quite add up until now. He told us that in 1951, there were originally 7 members of the secret society, but after that year, only 6 remained, with no explanation for the sudden disappearance of the 7th member. That missing member has haunted the history of the secret society, a mystery that no one has been able to solve, until now. I'm convinced that Professor Chow is that 7th member. Think about it. His deep knowledge of the secret society's inner workings, his uncanny understanding of their history, strategies, and even their current hires, all point to a connection far deeper than mere study. It's the only explanation for how he knows so much. He's not just a historian or a strategist. He's someone who lived that history, someone who was once part of their very core. Now, it all makes sense. The way he speaks, the things he knows. It's all because he was there, on the inside, before something caused him to break away. This realization has transformed how I see him from now on. No longer do I view him as just a quirky historian with a penchant for podcasts. I see him now as a valuable ally, one who knows our enemy better than anyone else ever could. But this also brings a new layer of danger. Madam President is still in danger, and the entire superhero community stands on the brink of destruction. Power is a dangerous thing, capable of shaping fates in ways we can't even begin to predict. And if Professor Chow was once part of the secret society, who's to say that the power he wielded then won't come back to haunt us all now? We're playing a dangerous game, and we all have a price to pay for it.